Daniel Okafor was 37, a successful international car dealer. He ran a busy luxury car dealership in the city. One evening he sat alone in his office, the city lights flickering through the large glass windows. He held a glass of whiskey, staring at the rows of shiny cars, feeling empty. Even with all his success, wealth, and respect, his heart felt heavy. He sighed and muttered, "I have all the money, but love still eludes me." Over the years he had met many beautiful women, but they all seemed interested in his money or his flashy lifestyle. Nobody saw him for who he really was, only what he had. Just then his best friend Michael walked in carrying a bag of takeaway. Daniel looked at him, his voice tight with frustration. "Michael, I can't keep living like this. I want real love. Someone who will love me for me, not for my cars or my money," he said. Michael nodded, setting the bag on the desk. "I understand, Daniel. It's not easy to find," he said gently. Daniel leaned forward, a sudden sparkle in his eyes. "But what are you planning to do?" Michael asked. "I'm about to open the biggest luxury car showroom in the city," Daniel said. "It will be massive with top-of-the-line cars and highly skilled staff, but I won't be the owner. I'm going to work as a cleaner." Michael raised an eyebrow. "A cleaner? Are you serious?" "Yes. I'll use a different name. No one will know who I am. I want to see how people treat me when I'm just an ordinary employee. I want to find someone who respects everyone no matter their status. This is my chance." Michael laughed, clearly impressed. "That's ambitious. But are you sure you can pull it off?" "I have to," Daniel replied. "I'll apply like everyone else as a cleaner, and you can handle the say that the owner is leaving abroad. I want to blend in. No one must know." Michael nodded. "This will be interesting." "My guy, I'll back you up," Michael said. The day finally came. The luxury car showroom's opening was the talk of the town. Skilled salespeople, mechanics, accountants, and other staff were all present, dressed in their sharpest attire. Michael, smartly dressed, addressed the employees. "Welcome to the grand opening of Apex Motors, the largest luxury car showroom in the city. The owner is away for now, but he trusts that each of you will perform your duties with dedication and professionalism. This showroom is under close supervision, and the owner expects excellence from everyone here." The staff clapped, proud to be part of such a prestigious business. Many of the sales team whispered to each other, bragging quietly about how lucky they were to work here. Some even glanced down at the cleaners standing quietly at the back, including Daniel, who was using a new name. One of the senior sales rep, Lillian, straightened her blazer and muttered, "Imagine starting as a cleaner in a place like this. Some people really have no ambition," she whispered to her colleague. Daniel, in his modest cleaner uniform, didn't respond. He reminded himself why he was here: to find someone genuine, someone who treated everyone with respect regardless of their position. Another cleaner, an elderly man with a stern look, nudged him. "First day, huh?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, I just started today." "Be careful around these sales reps. They act like they own the place," Emeka warned, rolling his eyes. Daniel smiled. "Thanks for the advice." As the day went on, the staff settled into their roles. The sales team discussed schedules and strategies. The managers gossiped and boasted about their achievements, while the cleaners, including Daniel, quietly went about their tasks. Lillian, the senior sales manager, nearly bumped into Daniel as he was polishing the showroom floor. "Hey, watch where you're going," she snapped, glaring at him. Daniel quickly apologized, keeping his head down. "Sorry, I didn't see you." Veronica huffed. "You cleaners are all the same, slow and careless. This showroom deserves better." Daniel bit his tongue, reminding himself of his role. He didn't want to reveal his true identity just yet. As he continued cleaning, he noticed other managers laughing at him from behind. They seemed to enjoy mocking the cleaners, feeling superior just because of their titles and fancy suits. During lunch break, Daniel sat quietly at the small staff table in the corner, while the sales team occupied the larger, more comfortable lounge. One of the senior salesmen, Charles, strutted past, glancing at the cleaners with disdain. "Unbelievable. They let anyone work here now?" he muttered loud enough for Daniel to hear. Michael, secretly watching from the management office via CCTV, shook his head. "Daniel is really going to see the true colors of people here," he whispered to himself. Daniel couldn't help but feel disappointed. Most of the staff were so full of themselves, looking down on those they considered beneath them. He wondered if there was anyone in the showroom who genuinely respected people, no matter their role. As the day drew to a close, Daniel wiped down the showroom doors. His mind was full of thoughts. Would he ever find someone genuine? Or would he always be surrounded by people who only valued wealth and status? The afternoon sun shone through the showroom windows. Inside, the cleaners were busy polishing cars and tidying spaces. But the naysayers? They were not working. They stood in groups, talking, laughing, and showing off. One of the senior sales managers said loudly, "I can't believe this. We are working in the biggest luxury car showroom in the city. My family back home will hear about this today." Another laughed. "I even posted it online now working at Apex Motors. My ex will be jealous." They all laughed together. Lillian raised her voice. "Let me tell you, not everyone can work here. We are the best of the best. Those cleaners should know their place and not speak to us as equals. This is not their level." The other staff nodded in agreement. Daniel, now using his fake name, was polishing the showroom floor nearby. He heard everything. They were proud of themselves, but manners were clearly absent. They looked down on the cleaners as if they were nothing. Daniel continued cleaning quietly. He didn't say a word, but deep inside he shook his head. Later that evening after work, Daniel slipped into the office where Michael, his friend and advisor, was waiting. Michael smiled when he saw him. "My dear billionaire cleaner. How was your first full day?" Michael asked. Daniel removed his cap, wiped his face and sighed. "I'm exhausted. These people, some of the managers are really rude. You should hear how they speak to cleaners like we're nothing." Michael laughed. "Welcome to the world of a regular worker, my friend. Now you see how it feels." Daniel shook his head. "I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd meet someone real. But after today, I don't know if true respect exists. Everyone seems proud. Everyone is fake. They only smile if they think someone is rich or important." Michael smiled. "Daniel, calm down. The world has both good and bad people. Maybe today you met the bad ones. Tomorrow could be different. Just keep observing." Daniel sighed again. "I don't even know if I can survive this. One of the managers snapped at me today, saying I was careless because I nearly missed a spot on the floor." Michael laughed. "Careless? This story will be something when it ends. Just be patient, my guy." Daniel gave a faint smile. "All right, I'll keep going. But if by the end of the week I don't see anyone decent here, I might just give up and stick with money like everyone else." Michael chuckled. "Let's see how it goes." The following morning, very early before the staff arrived, Daniel came in with his mop and bucket. He liked being first. It gave him a quiet moment before the chaos began. Soon, the same proud managers walked in, heads held high, heels clicking across the polished showroom floor. Lillian entered sharply and called out, "Where's the cleaner? This floor is dusty. Do you want customers to slip? Get over here now." Daniel hurried over and bent down to clean. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I'll take care of it right away." Lillian snapped, "You better, or I'll report you to management." The other colleagues laughed quietly. One whispered, "Look at him, even smells like cleaning products. I could never date someone like this. Imagine me, Charity, dating a cleaner." They all laughed again. Daniel kept quiet and continued his work. As he polished the showroom floor, one of the senior salesmen stepped into a wet patch. "Are you blind? Why isn't there a wet floor sign?" he barked. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll put one right now," Daniel replied calmly. "Use your head, not just your back," he added. Daniel looked up for a moment, then quickly looked down again. He smiled softly to himself. "If only they knew who I really am." Later that day, Michael sent Daniel a message through chats. "How's day 2 going? Any good people yet?" Michael asked. Daniel replied, "Nope. Just pride, insults and fake smiles, but I'm still watching." Michael sent a laughing emoji and wrote back, "Keep at it, Daniel. May God give you strength." Daniel put his phone down and looked around the showroom again. Everyone was busy showing off. But he was still waiting for someone who would look at him and smile, not because of his uniform, not because of money, but because of a kind heart. In the same city where Apex Motors, the largest luxury car showroom, had just opened, lived a young woman named Tina. Tina was a single mother. Her aunt, a hard-working woman, had raised her with sweat and determination. They were very close. Her aunt worked in a busy garment factory, stitching clothes from dawn till night just to provide for Tina and pay her school fees. Life was tough, but they managed. Tina didn't have her parents. Her mother had passed away when she was very young, and her father was nowhere to be found. So her aunt did everything she could to make Tina feel loved. Years later, something terrible happened to Tina while she was still in school. A man she trusted took advantage of her. She was betrayed and left alone. She cried for weeks. It broke her heart, but not her strength. Soon she discovered she was pregnant. Many people told her to give up her dreams, but Tina refused. "I will raise my baby and still finish school," she said firmly. Her aunt stood by her side. "You're strong, Tina. You can do this," she told her. Tina carried her baby, went to school with a growing belly, and after giving birth to a baby boy, she returned to her classes. Her course mate mocked her, but she never gave up. Years passed. She graduated. She had no fancy shoes, no rich relatives, but she had hope. One evening, Tina came home with a flyer in her hand. "Apex Motors is hiring," she said excitedly. Her aunt's tired eyes lit up. "Is that the big showroom we always hear about?" "Yes, Auntie. I will apply tomorrow," Tina replied. Her aunt hugged her tightly. "God will see you through. You will get the job." The next morning, Tina wore her only neat outfit. She combed her son's hair and gave him breakfast. Their neighbor agreed to watch the little boy while Tina rushed out. She walked quickly, her CV in a small brown envelope, sweat pouring down her forehead, but she didn't stop. By the time she got to the showroom, people were already inside. She approached the receptionist, panting. "Please, I'm here to apply for the sales assistant position." The receptionist looked up. "You're late. The position was just filled 10 minutes ago." Tina froze. "What?" she whispered, eyes wide. "We already picked someone." "Sorry," the receptionist added. Tina stepped outside and sat on the showroom steps, tears welling up. No, I had so much hope. What will I tell Auntie now? That I came late and missed the job." Her sobs caught the attention of someone. Emeka, the older cleaner who worked with Daniel. He walked up slowly. "Young lady, are you okay?" Tina wiped her eyes quickly. "I missed the job. They already gave it to someone else. I don't know what to tell my auntie. She believes I'll return with good news." Emeka looked at her closely and noticed something different about her. "You look like someone who needs a chance, not pity," he said calmly. Tina suddenly stood up. "I can't go home like this," she said firmly. "I'll take any job in this showroom. I'd rather be a cleaner than go home and see my aunt's face looking disappointed." Emeka blinked in surprise. "You want to work as a cleaner?" "Yes. Please help me talk to someone," Tina replied. She walked back into the showroom with determined steps. "Excuse me, Ma," she said to the hiring manager. "I know the sales position is taken, but I can clean. I can mop. I can do anything. Please let me work." The hiring manager looked surprised. "You're trained and you want to clean floors?" Tina nodded. "I need this job. My child and my aunt depend on me." The manager studied her for a moment, then picked up a form and handed it to her. "Fill this," she said. Tina smiled for the first time that day. Later that afternoon, Daniel, working under his fake name, was polishing the back area of the showroom when he noticed Tina in a cleaner's uniform. She looked new. She bent down and scrubbed the floor with focus and seriousness. She didn't complain. She didn't look ashamed. Daniel watched from a distance. Something about her spirit caught his attention. Emeka walked up beside him and spoke quietly. "That new lady? She came for the sales job but missed it. She asked to work as a cleaner instead. She said she would rather clean than go home without a job." Daniel smiled slightly. "Interesting," he said. Emeka chuckled. "This showroom is full of stories. Every day something new." Daniel kept his eyes on Tina. He didn't speak to her. Not yet. But deep inside, something told him to keep watching her. That evening, Tina returned home. Her son ran to her and hugged her tightly. "Mommy, you're back." "Yes, my love," Tina said, lifting him with a tired smile. "Mommy got a job today." Her aunt smiled from where she sat. "I told you God would make a way." Tina hugged her, tears of relief in her eyes. "It's not what I hoped for, but it's a start." Her aunt held her hand gently. "The job doesn't matter. It's the heart you bring into it." Tina nodded. "At least I'm not jobless. Maybe one day if there's an opening I can try again. For now, I'm grateful." They sat together and ate the little food they had, hoping to fill the room. It was Tina's second day working as a cleaner at Apex Motors. She dressed firmly and scrubbed the showroom floor near the sales desk. Her back ached, but she didn't stop. She was just thankful she could earn something for her son. Suddenly, loud voices filled the showroom. Lillian walked in with two other senior sales managers. They were laughing and holding cold drinks. One of them stopped and stared. "Wait, isn't that the lady who came for the sales job?" Lillian looked closely and smirked. "Yes, it's her." Another manager laughed loudly. "So now you're holding a mop instead of a sales file? Life really changes fast." They burst into laughter. Tina kept her head down and continued. "Scrubbing? Cleaner Tina?" Lillian said mockingly. You should have stayed at home if you knew you were not qualified. So you know. You wanted to be a sales executive and ended up with a mop. She has no ambition, another added. A whole Apex Motors and you thought we would hire just anybody? Please go and clean the restroom. They burst into laughter. Tina didn't answer. She kept scrubbing the floor. Her eyes burned but no tears fell. After mocking her, they laughed again and walked away, heels clicking proudly across the showroom floor. A few minutes later, Daniel, working under his fake name, walked in with Emeka. He had seen and heard everything. Emeka shook his head. These people are too proud. One day life will humble them. Daniel walked closer. Tina, are you okay? Tina looked up and gave a small smile. I'm fine. That's nothing. I've been through worse. Daniel and Emeka sat beside her on a nearby bench. Tina placed her mop aside and sat too, taking a deep breath. I was raised by my aunt, she said quietly. She taught me what hunger feels like. She taught me how to survive shame. When I got pregnant in school, people laughed at me. My course mate said I would never graduate, but I did. She paused. So their words don't break me. Emeka nodded slowly. You're a strong woman. I respect you. Daniel smiled gently. You don't have to prove anything to them. Raising a child and working honestly, that takes courage. Just then Tina's phone rang. She picked it up quickly. Hello? A worried voice came through the phone. It was her neighbor. Tina, please come quickly. Your son is not feeling well. She has been vomiting and I don't know what to do. Tina jumped up. Oh no. Daniel stood immediately. What happened? Tina's voice shook. It's my son. You sick? She looked at Daniel's eyes and said, Please, I need your help. I want to rush home. If anyone asks about me, just cover for me. Please. Daniel nodded. Go. Don't worry. I will handle it. Emeka added, We'll tell them you're on your lunch break. Don't panic. Go see your child. Tina grabbed a bag and ran out. Daniel stood there watching her leave, his heart tight. He didn't know why, but something about her strength touched him. She was not like the others. She had courage, pain. And she had love. Daniel looked at Emeka quietly. Now I understand why some people shine even when life is hard. Tina rushed into her compound, sweating and panting. Ken lay weak on a mat, his lips dry, his body burning with fever. Mommy, he whispered weakly. Tina scooped him up, tears already rolling down her cheeks. It's okay, my baby. Mommy is here. She wrapped her son in a wrapper, held him close, and ran back toward the showroom. When she arrived at Apex Medical Corner, Tina ran inside, clutching her child. Ken's breathing was fast and uneven. Tina hurried to the nurse's station. At the reception desk. Please, she cried. Help me. My son is very sick. He needs medical care. He has a fever. Nurse and looked up slowly, her lips curling with irritation. And, she said coldly. Tina's voice broke as she begged. Please, I work here. I'm a cleaner. Just help me treat him. The receptionist, Rita, rolled her eyes. Have you paid? Tina shook her head weakly. Not yet. I don't have the money now, but I promise I'll pay soon. Rita stood up sharply. Then leave this place. This is Apex Medical Center, not your local clinic. We don't treat people for free here. But he's just a child, Tina sobbed, her tears falling freely now. Just then Lillian and her squad arrived. She scoffed loudly. Go and queue at the government hospital. This place is for rich people. Tina stood there, shocked and broken, holding her weak son tightly. Just then Emeka and Daniel walked in and saw the scene. Emeka's eyes widened. What is happening here? Through tears, Tina explained everything. Daniel stepped forward. She works here. Can't you treat the child first and sort out the bill later? Lillian snapped her head toward him. Daniel, don't talk when serious people are talking. Daniel frowned. What is wrong with you people? A child is sick. Why can't you treat him? Grace laughed mockingly. Since when did cleaners start giving orders here? You push a mop around, now you want to tell us how to do our job. Daniel stood firm. I don't need to be a doctor to know this is wickedness. Then pay for his treatment, you dirty cleaner, she snapped. Or keep quiet. Emeka stepped forward angrily. How can you all be so heartless? Even if she's a cleaner, does that mean her son should die? Lillian hissed. Emeka, all your life you've been cleaning. What have you achieved? Now you want to teach us kindness? Shift. Emeka shouted back. Even with my mop, I have more heart than all of you. Tina stood silently, crying as she gently rocked her son. Suddenly, a calm but firm voice came from behind. Excuse me, what's going on here? Everyone turned. It was Dr. Tamara, a kind-hearted doctor known for doing her job quietly and well. She looked at Ken and frowned. "He's burning up," she said urgently. "Bring him to my office. I'll treat him." Nurse stepped forward. "But Ma, she hasn't paid." Dr. Tamara raised her hand. "She works here, doesn't she?" "Yes, but," Lillian tried to speak. "I said bring him now," Dr. Tamara said firmly. Tina's eyes widened with relief. "Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much." Dr. Tamara gave her a gentle smile. "It's okay. Let's save the child first." Daniel nodded at her in respect as the nurses walked away, grumbling. "So cleaners are winning today," Lillian muttered under her breath. Inside Dr. Tamara's office, Tina sat beside the hospital bed, holding Ken's hand as the doctor administered medicine and an injection. Daniel stood quietly by the door. After the treatment, Ken's breathing slowly became steady. He opened his eyes and whispered, "Mommy?" Tina kissed his forehead, tears of relief falling. "You're okay now, my baby?" Dr. Tamara smiled softly. "He'll be fine. Just let him rest." Tina looked up at her, her eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you so much. God bless you." "You're welcome," Dr. Tamara replied gently. Outside the medical unit, Daniel sat alone on a chair, deep in thought. His eyes moved toward the showroom floor where staff were still walking around with pride and pretense. So much arrogance. So much wickedness. Then he looked through the glass and saw Tina holding her son, whispering prayers softly. With so much strength, so much love. Daniel smiled slowly. Something shifted inside him. He couldn't explain it yet, but one thing was clear: Tina was different. Later that day, Amanda, Grace, and Lillian gathered near the staff lounge, sipping cold drinks and eating snacks, their faces wearing the same pride as always. Lillian crossed her legs and scoffed. "Can you imagine? That medical officer has turned this car showroom into a charity center." Stella laughed. "Treating a cleaner's child for free. Is this a showroom clinic or a roadside clinic?" Grace hissed. "One day the real owner of this company will show up. And when he does, I'll personally report everything. People doing charity with company resources like it's their father's business." They all laughed. "I'll tell the owner how some people are turning his luxury showroom into a free-for-all center," Lillian added. "Relax," Grace replied confidently. "That day is coming. And when the owner finally appears, some people will be very shocked." Meanwhile, inside Michael's office, Daniel, who was actually undercover and using a fake name, walked in, shaking his head with a bitter smile. Michael looked up from his laptop. "Ah, my billionaire cleaner is back. What's today's episode?" Daniel dropped into a chair heavily. "Michael, you won't believe what I'm seeing in this place." Michael leaned back, curious. "Tell me." "I still can't believe the management hired these types of wicked and heartless people. If you see the way they treat people, I'm shocked. No respect, no compassion." Michael laughed, but they were all qualified during the interview and with good degrees. Daniel shook his head. "These ones are not sales staff. They are pure trouble." Michael laughed harder. "So, have you met any good people yet, or are they all wicked?" Daniel's face softened suddenly. He looked down for a moment and smiled. "Actually, yes. There's one person. Her name is Tina." Michael raised a brow. "Tina?" "Yes," Daniel replied. "She came to apply for a proper position, but she arrived late. The role had already been given to someone else. She sat outside the showroom and cried. She said she couldn't go home jobless because her son and her aunt depended on her." Michael sat up, listening closely. Daniel continued. "She begged the admin officer to let her work as a cleaner. She said she'd rather clean cars and floors than sit at home helpless. They gave her the job and she started immediately. No complaints. No grumbling." Michael's expression changed. "Really?" Daniel's voice dropped. "Then her son Ken fell sick. Tina brought her into the showroom's medical unit. The same supervisors mocked her and refused to help at first because she hadn't paid." Michael frowned. "What?" "I felt helpless. Angry," Daniel said. "But then the company medical officer stepped in. She didn't ask unnecessary questions. She told her to bring the child in and treated him immediately." Michael nodded slowly. "That's Tamara for you. I know her. Calm, kind, very professional. Not like the rest." Daniel smiled. "I thank God there are still good people in this company." Michael leaned back. "And Tina, what do you think about her?" Daniel paused, then spoke softly. "She's different. She doesn't wear pride like the others. She's been through pain, but she's still gentle. Strong but not loud. You can feel her struggles, Yet you also see her courage. Michael folded his arms and smiled. My friend is falling for a cleaner. Daniel laughed. No. I'm just observing. Michael smirked. Observation sparks admiration. Admiration draws attention. And attention grows into affection. Daniel pointed at him playfully. If you say one more word, I'll transfer you to wash cars outside. They both laughed. Then Michael leaned forward, serious. But Daniel, remember your plan. You wanted someone who would love you without knowing you're rich. Someone who sees you, not your money. Daniel nodded slowly. Yes. Later, Tina sat quietly in the cleaner's rest area beside Ken, who was sleeping on a bench after treatment. His small chest rose and fell gently now. No more sharp breathing. No more burning fever. Tina whispered, "Thank you, God." Just then Daniel knocked lightly and walked in. Tina stood quickly. "Oh, Daniel. Thank you for earlier. You and Sir Emeka, I don't know what I would have done." Daniel smiled. "How is he now?" "He's better. He's sleeping." Daniel nodded. "You're a strong woman, Tina. Don't forget that." Tina smiled softly. "I just want to do my best for him, and for my auntie." "You're doing well," Daniel said, sitting beside her. "Don't let proud people make you forget your worth." Tina looked at him, her eyes slightly wet. "You talk like someone who understands pain." Daniel smiled faintly. "Let's just say I've seen enough of the world to know it's not always kind." They sat quietly for a moment. No words. Just understanding. Days later, Tina's son Ken had fully recovered. The fever was gone, and the little boy ran around their small room laughing, playing with his toy. Tina smiled at him. "God, thank you. I will never forget how Daniel and Emeka stood by me." That morning, Tina woke up early and cooked a small pot of porridge, yam and beans. It wasn't much, but it was well cooked. She carefully placed the food into 2 plates, one for Daniel and one for Emeka, just to appreciate them. Later that afternoon, Daniel and Emeka were sitting behind the showroom, resting after cleaning the long display floor. Tina approached them with a shy smile, carrying the plates. "Good afternoon, my friends," she greeted sweetly. Daniel smiled. "Ah, Tina, the strong woman." Emeka chuckled. "Look at her face, like she's hiding something." Tina laughed. "No, I just brought some food for you both. It's nothing big, but it's my way of saying thank you for helping me and standing by my son." She handed them the plates. "I know it's small," she added, "but please enjoy it." Daniel opened his plate and sniffed. "Huh? Yam and beans? Tina, you've just made my day." Emeka was already digging in. "This is no small matter. This is celebration food." They laughed and ate happily. After the food, Tina and Daniel continued talking while Emeka went back inside. "You've been very kind to me, Daniel. But tell me, who are you really? Why did you choose to work as a cleaner?" Daniel looked at her, calm but thoughtful. "Things haven't been easy for me. I looked everywhere for a job, but nothing worked. No connection, no help. I decided to work as a cleaner to support myself. I just couldn't sit at home doing nothing." Tina nodded slowly. "Are you a graduate?" "Yes," Daniel replied. Tina blinked. "Don't stop applying. Don't give up on your dreams just because life is hard now." She placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "Look at me. I'm a trained medical personnel, also skilled in marketing, or rather I was, but I'm working as a cleaner here. What? Because I still have hope. One day there will be a space for me. This is temporary. I won't stay here forever." Daniel stared at her, speechless for a moment. Tina smiled. "Don't give up, Daniel. Promise me you'll keep trying." Daniel nodded slowly. "I promise." They smiled at each other. For the first time in a long while, Daniel felt someone believed in him, not the billions, not the cleaner, but the person inside. Suddenly, a woman's scream echoed from the reception area. "Help! Somebody help! My water just broke." People rushed over. A heavily pregnant woman was on the floor, crying in pain. Her husband shook, panicking. The sales reps, Grace and Lillian, were nearby, but instead of helping, they just stared. "We don't have a delivery room here," Lillian said coldly. "Go to the maternity clinic." "But she can't walk," the husband cried out on hearing the commotion. Tina dropped her mop and ran forward. "She's in active labor. We can't move her," Tina said firmly. "We need to help her here." Lillian rolled her eyes. "And who made you a doctor?" she scoffed. Tina ignored her. She quickly grabbed gloves and hot water, knelt beside the woman, and guided her breathing. "Push slowly, that's it. You're doing well." Within minutes, a baby cried loudly and strong, filling the showroom with new life. People watching clapped in shock and joy. Even some sales staff and 2 nurses froze, unable to believe what they'd seen. Just then Dr. Chaik, a senior medical officer, arrived. "Who assisted?" he asked, hurrying over. "I did, sir," Tina replied, still holding the newborn. Dr. Chaik was stunned. "Do you have experience with childbirth?" Tina shook her head. "Do you?" "Yes, sir. But I work here as a cleaner. I've assisted a midwife before. I knew I had to help." Dr. Chaik looked around at the other staff, disappointed, then turned to Tina with genuine respect. "You have golden hands and a heart of service." "Thank you." Tina smiled, tears forming in her eyes. Daniel watched quietly from the corner, pride swelling in his chest. For the first time he felt proud, not just of Tina, but of the choice he made to be here. Later, that same day, the new mother's husband approached Tina, tears in his eyes. "Ma'am, thank you. Thank you for saving my wife and our baby." Tina gently shook her head. "Please stand. You don't need to kneel. I only did what I could." His wife, holding the newborn, hugged Tina warmly. "I don't know what would have happened if you weren't here," she said. "God bless you, Ma." That a few employees who had been nearby clapped in shock and delight. One cleaner even whistled loudly. Daniel, watching quietly from a corner, smiled to himself. Emeka was right, he thought. This girl really has fire for body. News spreads fast. By evening, almost everyone in the showroom had heard the story. Even in the manager's office, people were whispering. "Did you hear that one of the cleaners helped deliver a baby right here in the showroom?" someone murmured. "I heard she's trained in medical assistance, but they didn't hire her properly. Why didn't anyone else help?" Meanwhile, at the sales supervisor's station, Lillian and Grace sat with puffed cheeks and crossed arms. "All this noise over nothing," Grace hissed. "So she helped deliver a child. Big deal." Lillian scoffed. "It's not like she flew to the moon. We see medical emergencies all the time in big showrooms." Grace added sharply, "She's just looking for attention so management will feel pity and promote her. Pretty soon, she'll be acting like an angel in a cleaner uniform." They laughed loudly, pretending not to care. But inside each of them was shaken. Lillian crossed her legs, snapped her gum, and muttered under her breath, "Let me catch her tomorrow. I'll remind her she's still a cleaner." The next day, Tina came to work early as usual, dressed in her cleaner uniform. She greeted everyone politely and walked straight to Ken, who was sitting in the corner painting quietly. Daniel and Emeka were already seated near the entrance. Emeka waved. "Ah, our new midwife," he teased lightly. Tina laughed softly. "Please leave me out of that. I'm just a cleaner, remember?" Daniel grinned. Cleaner by uniform, caregiver at heart. Tina looked at them, a small smile tugging at her lips. "Let's just say, I know how to stay calm when people need help. That's all. Honestly, I was only doing what was right. That woman was in pain. Nobody was helping." Emeka shook his head. "The world needs more people like you." Tina let out a soft sigh. "Now I hear people saying I did it just to show off, that I want management to notice me." Daniel leaned forward. "Let them talk. People will always have something to say. What matters is that you did the right thing." Tina looked at him for a long moment. "Thank you, Daniel. You always know how to make sense of things." He smiled faintly. "Maybe I've seen more of this world than you think." They both chuckled. A knock came from the management office. Dr. Chaik stepped in. Michael looked up. "Dr. Chaik, what's going on?" "There's someone I need to talk to you about," Dr. Chaik said, his voice calm but firm. Michael leaned forward. "I need to talk to you about someone," Dr. Chaik said. "Her name is Tina. She works here as a cleaner. She came to apply as a sales rep, but yesterday she helped deliver a healthy baby in the showroom while others stood and watched. The patient and baby are fine because of her." Michael's eyebrows lifted. "She's smart, calm, and clearly knows what she's doing. Honestly, she deserves better than a mop." Michael nodded slowly and smiled. "Thank you, doctor. I'll look into it." As soon as Dr. Chaik left Michael's office, the door opened again. Daniel stepped in. All perfect timing. Daniel walked over and sat down. "What happened?" Michael leaned forward, lowering his voice. "That was Dr. Chaik. He came to talk about Tina." Daniel's face lit up with interest. "What did he say?" Michael replied. "He said she deserves more than a mop. She delivered a baby in the showroom hallway. Everyone was watching, yet she remained calm, handled it flawlessly, and never panicked. He said she's sharp, courageous, remarkable." Daniel nodded slowly, a smile forming. "He's right. I saw everything with my own eyes." Daniel looked at him closely. "So, what do you intend to do?" Daniel paused for a moment, then spoke quietly. "It's time. Michael blinked. Time for what? Daniel smiled. Time to reveal who I really am. Michael leaned back, eyes wide. Seriously? Yes, Daniel said calmly. I've seen enough. I've watched the proud, the lazy, the careless, and I've also seen the good. Especially Tina. Michael crossed his arms. So what's the plan? Daniel stood and gazed out the window, his expression thoughtful. Not all at once. I want it to be gradual. First, announce that the showroom owner has finally returned to the country and will be visiting soon. Michael smirked. Ah, I see. So, you want them to get nervous first? Daniel smiled faintly. Exactly. Let's see how they behave when they think the owner is coming. Later that afternoon, a message went out through the showroom staff chat and was pinned on the main board. Attention everyone. The owner of this showroom has returned to the country and will be visiting very soon. Please prepare accordingly. Maintain professionalism at all times, and ensure every department is in top condition. At the staff station, the announcement struck like a thunderclap. Lillian dropped her cup in disbelief. Wait, the owner is coming? Grace squealed. What? When? I need to fix my hair. Amanda glanced at her phone, checking her reflection. I need fresh lashes before he arrives. He has to notice me. Grace jumped to her feet. I'm buying a new wig tonight, a fine curly one. That man must not think we're local. Lillian tugged at her wear and squared her shoulders. From now on, no slacking. The owner must see us as serious, beautiful, and hard-working. At once, they sprang into action, moving faster, lowering their voices, and suddenly performing their duties with exaggerated care. Outside the showroom gate, Tina stood beneath a small tree, chatting as the cool evening breeze brushed past them. Tina shielded her eyes. The sun today was unforgiving. Emeka laughed. Emeka wiped his forehead and groaned. This sun is cooking me alive, he muttered with a grin. They both chuckled. Just then Daniel approached holding a water bottle. He looked at them calmly. Have you heard the news? Tina and Emeka turned toward him. What news? Emeka asked. Daniel met their gaze. The showroom owner will be visiting soon. Emeka nodded. Finally. About time. At least we'll see him face to face. Tina remained quiet for a moment before speaking. I hope he's a good person. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Why do you say that? Tina looked down briefly then replied, some wealthy people don't really care. They open these huge showrooms but have no idea what goes on inside. I just hope this one manages things with fairness and wisdom. Emeka nodded. She's right. Too many owners only care about money. Daniel fell silent, lost in thought for a moment. He gazed at Tina, meeting her sincere eyes, then turned to Emeka, who spoke only what he truly felt. He didn't say anything. He just smiled quietly. But inside him, something deep moved. She had no idea she was talking to the very owner she was worried about. But instead of feeling insulted, Daniel felt something warm in his chest. She wasn't wrong. But he promised himself that he wouldn't be like that. He would be different. He intended to prove Tina wrong and do so rightly. It had been 7 whole days and Daniel had not shown up at work. No one had seen him. No one had heard from him. Tina stood near the staff locker area, wiping her hands on her clothes. Her face was tight with worry. She glanced around again, hoping to see that familiar gentle smile walking down the hallway, but there was no sign of him. She turned to Emeka, who was arranging his cleaning supplies nearby. Emeka, have you heard from Daniel? Did he say he won't be coming to work? Emeka shook his head slowly. No, not a word. I've been worried too. He didn't tell me anything and we don't even have his phone number. Tina sighed deeply. Who knows if he's okay? How can someone just disappear like that without telling anyone? Her voice dropped, panic creeping in. What if those rude staff report him to management? They might cut his salary or even fire him, and he hadn't even asked us to cover for him. Emeka frowned. That boy has never missed work before. Something must be wrong. Tina nodded quickly. This is serious. 7 whole days is too long. We should inform management before someone else does. Just as they were speaking, Lillian came striding toward them, her high heels clicking sharply on the floor. Her expression was stern. Where is your friend Daniel? She demanded, folding her arms. Tina replied quickly, he's not feeling well. He informed management and gave an excuse. Lillian squinted. I hope so. The showroom owner could show up any day now, and this is the 7th day Daniel has been absent. She pointed a finger at them. You better call him. Make sure he returns to work tomorrow, or he could risk losing this job. Tina forced a small smile. Okay, Ma. I will. Lillian exhaled sharply and walked away. Tina looked back at Emeka, her worry growing heavier. Emeka, I think I should go speak to management myself, before that woman causes more trouble. Emeka gave a small nod. Yes, go ahead. Say something to cover for him before she writes a long complaint. Tina took a deep breath. I was just thinking the same thing. Emeka pointed toward the main building. Go straight to the top floor. That's where the management offices are. Ask for Mr. Michael. He handles most staff issues. Tina nodded and walked away. Michael's office. Later that day, Tina knocked gently on the door. Come in, Michael called out. She stepped in. Tina stood before him, her hands clasped together, her eyes slightly uneasy. Good afternoon, sir. Michael looked up from his desk. Yes? How can I help you? My name is Tins, she said gently. I work here as a cleaner. I came to speak about my colleague Daniel. Michael leaned forward, curiosity showing on his face. He hasn't been at work for 3 days now, Tina continued. We haven't been able to reach him and he's never been absent like this before. I don't know if he's sick or if something happened, but he's a very responsible man. She paused, then added earnestly, Please sir, don't cut his pay. I truly believe something is wrong. Michael studied her quietly for a few moments, saying nothing. If there's any way someone can check on him, Tina added softly, please do. Michael nodded slowly. Thank you, Tina. I understand. I'll look into it. Relief washed over her face. Thank you so much, sir. She turned and walked out. Michael leaned back in his chair, deep in thought. Then he murmured to himself, Daniel is lucky to have someone like her. Later that evening at Daniel's mansion, Michael stepped out of his black Jeep and walked toward the tall wooden doors. Daniel opened the door himself, dressed in a simple shirt and shorts. Michael, what brings you here? Michael laughed lightly. I came to check on my friend. Daniel smiled. I needed a few days away to clear my mind. I've been doing a lot of thinking. Michael stepped inside and Saturday, well, while you were thinking, someone has been extremely worried about you. Daniel lifted an eyebrow. Who? Michael's smile deepened. Tina. Daniel froze for a second. Tina? Yes, Michael said. She came to my office today. Said you haven't been at work for 3 days, that no one can reach you, but she's convinced something isn't right. He paused, then added, she even pleaded that your pay shouldn't be cut. Daniel slowly lowered himself onto the couch. Michael continued, she said you're a good man, and that you'd never just disappear without a reason. Daniel looked away, his heart thumping a little faster. He lowered his gaze, a faint smile forming on his lips. Michael continued, that girl truly cares about you. You can see it in her eyes, hear it in her voice. That kind of kindness is rare. Daniel nodded slowly, still smiling. I'll see her soon. The big day had come. After weeks of pretending, hiding, watching, and waiting, Daniel Okafor, the real owner of Apex Motor, he was finally ready to show the world who he truly was. The showroom was spotlessly clean that morning. The staff stood neatly dressed, their faces full of expectation. The sales manager had lined up. The staff whispered from one corner to another. The owner is coming today. I heard he's young, handsome, and wealthy. I just hope he doesn't sack anybody. Tina was at the back of the building, cleaning the windows quietly. She had no idea what was going on inside. She hadn't seen Daniel for days, and it weighed heavily on her heart. Why did he leave like that? She wondered inside the showroom lobby. The elevator chimed. Everyone turned. A tall, handsome man stepped out, dressed in a sharp black suit, sunglasses on his face. Behind him was Michael, smiling proudly. Gasps filled the air. Wait, is that him? I know that face. Is that not Daniel? Emeka stood, eyes wide open. No, that's not possible. Daniel removed his glasses slowly. He walked with quiet confidence through the crowd. Lillian, Grace, and Amanda froze where they stood, mouths open as though they had seen a ghost. Lillian whispered, Kelvin is Daniel Okafor. Amanda almost fainted. Emeka dropped the mop in his hand, his mouth shaking. I've been working with a billionaire and didn't know it. Daniel turned and smiled gently at him. Thank you for staying true, Emeka. At the back, Tina turned when she heard her name. Tina, she looked up and the bucket fell out from her hand. Her heart skipped. Kelvin, she whispered. He walked toward her. No, not Kelvin, he said softly. My real name is Daniel Okafor. I own this car showroom. Tina stepped back. No, stop. Daniel moved closer. Please let me explain. Her eyes filled with tears. Explain what? That you lied to me? That you made me trust you while hiding who you really are. Daniel's voice cracked. I only wanted someone who would care about me for who I am, not for my money. I never meant to hurt you. She shook her head as a tear rolled down her cheek. You deceived me, Daniel. You stood by me when my son was sick. You sat with me. I was open to you and now I find out it was all a lie. No, Tina, it wasn't a lie, he said quickly. It was real. I was myself with you. Every word, every moment, real. Tina wiped her face. I don't know who you are anymore. You say you're Daniel, but I only knew Kelvin. And Kelvin is gone. Daniel took another step closer, but Tina picked up her bag. I'm sorry. I can't do this. With one last look, she turned and walked away. The showroom went quiet. Staff who had gathered stood frozen, watching. Lillian and her rude colleagues couldn't even breathe. She turned him down, Grace whispered. She walked away from a billionaire. Amanda stared in disbelief. Michael slowly walked over to Daniel, who stood staring at the spot where Tina had disappeared. Michael placed a hand on his shoulder. Let her go, Daniel. She's hurting. She'll come around, she just needs time. Daniel's eyes were red. He said nothing. He had everything money could buy, yet it felt as if he had lost the one thing his heart had truly found. The showroom was eerily silent. Tina had walked away in tears. Daniel, the billionaire and secret owner, stood frozen, his heart aching in front of the entire staff. But that wasn't the only shock of the day. The entire staff now knew the truth. Daniel, the unassuming cleaner, was actually Daniel Okafor, the real owner they had never met. In the staff room, Lillian sat pale, clutching her chest as if she'd seen a ghost. God, we humiliated him. We insulted him. We chased him with mops and buckets. Grace paced nervously. I called him names. I said he smelled like bleach. I told him he was just a cleaner. And covered her face in shame. He heard us mock Tina. He watched us ignore her sick son. Lillian's voice trembled. We're done for. That's the billionaire, and we treated him like garbage. Amanda sobbed. He even mopped floors while we laughed behind his back. Who could have imagined that? Grace muttered, I don't think he'll ever forgive us. In the doctor's lounge, some of the staff were equally stunned. Dr. Rose, who once scolded Daniel for a wet floor, was sweating. That was him, and I told him to use his head, not his back. Another doctor whispered, he's been observing all of us this whole time. 1 hour later, Michael stepped forward and announced loudly, all staff report to the main lobby. The owner, Mr. Daniel Okafor, wishes to address everyone. Everyone came, cleaners, technicians, even kitchen staff, doctors. They stood in neat rows, heads bowed, fear etched across their faces. Daniel walked in slowly, dressed in a sharp outfit. His eyes scanned the room, calm but commanding. No smiles. No jokes. Silence. He stood at the front and spoke in a deep, steady voice. When I decided to open this car showroom, my goal was simple. A place where every life matters, rich or poor, senior or cleaner. But what I've witnessed breaks my heart. Some of you wear arrogance like a badge. You mocked those who came for help. You laughed at their pain. You treated cleaners like they were not human. Daniel's voice grew firmer. A staff member's child was ill, and instead of showing compassion, you responded with cruelty. Where there should have been care, there was mockery. Lillian bit her lip, her hands trembling. Daniel continued, this showroom is not a place to show off expensive clothes or walk around with pride. It exists to serve customers with integrity, to guide people in important decisions, and to earn trust. If your heart isn't in the work, then you don't belong here. A few of them wiped away quiet tears. He gestured gently. But some of you stood out, like gold in the middle of pressure. Dr. Tamara, you acted as a true doctor. You treated a child not for profit or recognition, but out of duty and compassion. For that, you are promoted to senior pediatric consultant in our medical unit. Applause echoed through the showroom. Dr. Tamara bowed respectfully. Dr. Chaik, you stood up not just for a patient but for a colleague. You recognized Tina's efforts and brought them to my attention. I am proud of you. You will now lead the emergency unit. More claps followed. Then Daniel turned to Emika, the veteran cleaner. You have earned my highest respect. You spoke when others stayed silent. You stood with the weak. You served faithfully. From today, you are promoted to Facility Operations Supervisor. No more mops for you. Tears streamed down Moose's face. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Finally, Daniel's gaze swept across the showroom. And for Tina. Everyone looked at the spot where she had been. He cleared his throat. She came quietly, a cleaner with a mop in hand. But when a mother went into labor in the showroom, she acted quickly and calmly, saving both mother and child. That's courage and heart in action. He paused, voice firm. From today, Tina will lead our staff's safety and customer care department. She'll no longer mop floors, she'll be in charge of protecting our people and making sure emergencies are handled properly. The staff clapped, some in admiration, some in quiet shame. Daniel looked around. Let this be a lesson. Never judge someone by their uniform. The person you overlooked today might be the one who saves lives tomorrow. Because the cleaner standing beside you today might just be your boss tomorrow. The showroom will change. From today we will no longer walk in pride but with purpose. If you cannot show kindness to the least among us, you are not worthy to work here. Lillian slumped into a chair, tears streaming. I'm sure he'll fire me. I was the worst. Amanda whispered, let's beg him. Grace shook her head. After everything we said to Tina, after everything we did to Daniel, I don't think he'll forgive us. Meanwhile, Daniel looked around but his heart was heavy. He had said what needed to be said. He had done what needed to be done. But Tina, the one person he wanted to see, was gone. He stared out the window, heart aching. Where are you, Tina? The next few days, Tina lay weak on her small mattress at home. Her eyes were puffy from crying and she hadn't eaten. Her son Ken sat quietly beside her, holding his mother's hand. Her aunt paced nervously around the tiny room. Suddenly, a friend rushed in, phone in hand. Tina, you're on the news. Come see. Tina slowly sat up, still feeling weak. The TV volume was turned up, and there it was, a dramatic turn of events at Apex Showroom. The true identity of the showroom's owner, Mr. Daniel Okafor, had been revealed. He had worked undercover as a cleaner for several weeks. In his official announcement, he promoted several staff members, including Tina, who had once been mocked by co-workers. From now on, she would lead the staff safety and customer care department, recognized for her courage, quick thinking, and dedication. Tina gasped, hand covering her mouth in shock and awe. Her aunt jumped with joy. Tina, you did it. You finally made it. Tears streamed down her cheeks, not from pain this time but from overwhelming joy and disbelief. Daniel couldn't wait any longer. He turned to Michael in the office. Michael, bring me Tina's employment form. I need her address. I'm going to see her, now. Michael nodded calmly. I was waiting for this moment. Minutes later, Daniel drove his luxury car straight into Tina's compound. He stepped out and hurried inside. The small room fell silent the moment he entered. Tina slowly lifted her head. She looked weak but her eyes widened in shock. Daniel, she whispered. He walked straight to her, bent down and gently lifted her into his arms. I'm sorry, he said softly. I shouldn't have waited this long. Turning to her auntie, he added, Ma, please allow me to take you and Ken with us. I'll make sure he receives proper care. Tina's auntie stared in disbelief. God, is this real? At Daniel's mansion, his private doctor arrived almost immediately. Tina was settled into a spotless room, soft sheets beneath her and calm music playing in the background. Ken and her grandma were also given comfortable rooms, with nurses attending to them with kindness and care. Within days, Tina regained her strength. The color returned to her face and her smile slowly came back. One evening, Daniel sat beside her bed. Tina, he began gently, I never meant to hurt you. I was searching for someone real, someone like you. I hid my identity but my love was never fake. She looked at him, then at her son playing on the couch and finally at her auntie who nodded in quiet approval. She took a deep breath. I forgive you. Relief flooded his face as he pulled her into a tight embrace. Thank you. Thank you so much. Weeks later, Tina resumed work. She wore her new uniform with pride and walked with purpose. Staff who once mocked her now greeted her with respect. Lillian and her colleagues stood before her office, heads bowed. Tina, please, Lillian said. We're sorry for everything. Please forgive us. Tina rose slowly and replied calmly, I forgive you. But let this be a lesson, never look down on anyone. Tears filled their eyes as they nodded. 1 month later, Daniel invited staff members and the media to a grand hall inside the showroom for a special announcement. Standing before them, he smiled. Today, I'm making the most important decision of my life. He turned to Tina, took her hand and said, Will you marry me? Gasps filled the hall. Tina smiled through her tears. Yes, Daniel. I will. Applause and cheers erupted. Months later, they were married in a beautiful garden ceremony filled with flowers. Music filled the air. Ken, dressed in white, proudly called Daniel father. After the wedding, Daniel made one final surprise decision. Tina was promoted again. She was made to head the entire Apex car showroom, standing before the staff in a fitted suit, microphone in hand, addressing them confidently. This showroom is more than a building, it is a home. Everyone, regardless of position, deserves respect. From today, anyone who treats a colleague, customer or patient with pride or cruelty will lose their job. The room erupted in applause. As Daniel stood beside her, smiling like the proudest husband alive, Tina felt it deeply. She hadn't just found a job. She had found her purpose, her place, and true love. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.